All right, what is up, everybody? Sydney Sweeney just did a commercial for, I think it's American Eagle or Hollister or something like that. I only saw the commercial once, so I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I'm not even sure I actually watched the whole entire commercial, but I did see most of it. I saw most of it. So, um, but that's the commercial itself. I'm not here to talk about because I don't care too much for the commercial. It's just a commercial. But the reactions to it are interesting because the commercial did well in the sense that the stock for the company actually went up quite a bit. I think it went up by like $300 million, which isn't, you know, like that's a lot of money. $300 million. Do you have $300 million? I don't have $300 million. I don't know anybody that has $300 million. So yeah, that's a lot of money for a stock to go up in. So obviously, it's resonated with some people, and people like it for the most part. If they didn't like it, the stock would probably drop. But I have seen some pretty crazy reactions to it. So in the commercial, it says Sydney Sweeney has great jeans, and it like zooms in on a shot of her butt and jeans. Now, Sydney Sweeney is an attractive actress. Um, that doesn't really do anything for me. I've been in a relationship for over 6 years, and I work out at a gym. Well, I work at a gym, so I'm a little desensitized to a lot of these like highly sexual shots, or sexual shots in general. They just, sex sells. It is what it is. A lot of people have incorporated that kind of stuff in commercials. Looking at you, Carl's Jr. But them saying Sydney Sweeney has great genes has caused a lot of really funny reactions on social media because some people are taking the genes as not the Jeans genes. They're taking it as a play on the Genes genes. So they're tying this into the idea that it's based off of white supremacy. That you're saying that since Sydney Sweeney has great genes, this is like a tie into white supremacy. Okay. Well, that's a crazy take. Now, look, even if the people in the marketing department, which I'm sure they thought about this because people in marketing, like they always think of like ways to get attention, whether it's good or bad. They're always trying to find ways to start conversations because the more you talk about their advertisements, the more it's stuck in your head. And subconsciously, you're thinking about it. You're putting information out there. You're getting people engaged and in tune with what they're trying to sell. So whether you like it or not, you're spreading that commercial outside the means of which it's been produced to be shown, right? The commercial only reaches X amount of people. But if those people are talking about the commercial and they talk with it with their friends and other people, regardless of whether the conversations are good or bad, the commercial is spreading outside the spectators that have already seen it. So people are upset. Well, some people are upset that this commercial is saying that Sydney Sweeney has great genes. The Genes genes, the Genes genes. Even if that was the case, even if that is what the people in charge of marketing are trying to do, why does that matter? I mean, look, Sydney Sweeney is a sex symbol. Okay. People watch Sydney Sweeney because she's attractive. If she had bad genes, then people wouldn't be watching her for that reason. So, my question is, are you upset because if somebody who happens to be white has good genes, Does that automatically tie into white supremacy? Hmm. Does this mean that no white people can have good genes? Because if you say white people have good genes, then that's white supremacy. Like that doesn't make any sense. You reverse that for any other sort of race, right? Like that's just it's ridiculous. Like if we said that Terry Crews has great genes, but you wouldn't tie that into like black supremacy. It's a fact. Terry Crews does have great genes. Like look at the guy. He's freaking Adonis walking around in his like I don't even know. Is he in his 60s now? But he's in better shape than I am, regardless of whether the guy is on steroids or not. He has great genes. So what are we talking about here? Like, why, even if that was what the marketing department and the people in charge of making this commercial were trying to do, why do you care? And if you do care and you're talking about this, then all you're doing is accomplishing the goal that the marketers wanted in the first place, which was for you to talk about it. Now, if you dislike the ad because you just thought that it was a cheap way to get people's attention through the male gaze and selling sex, okay, cool. Again, I don't see a problem with that, but at least then for me it would be more understandable why you don't like this commercial. But it's just a commercial. They're trying to sell jeans, okay? If they had a freaking swastika on the jeans and they said that Sydney Sweeney has great jeans and then she did one of those Hitler salutes, then yeah, I'd be like, well, that's pretty crazy. They're probably white supremacists. I would agree with you. But it's just a commercial trying to sell regular ass jeans. And even if it is a play on jeans, Sydney Sweeney has good genes. That doesn't mean that her genes are better than everybody else. But in Sydney Sweeney's case, yeah, she has good genes. Look at the woman. She looks good. So you can't argue that she's not attractive. Is she my cup of tea? I mean, I think she's attractive, but I tend to, if I'm being honest, I like Latinas. Like I've been with a Latina for the last over 6 years now. So that's my cup of tea. I'm one of those white guys. So there you go. I think that all these kind of reactions do these like highly sensitive reactions to these kind of things that aren't really a big deal. All it does is it actually makes people who may have been sympathetic to your insecurities not resonate with you anymore. So say you're a highly sensitive person, right? And you have insecurities about your weight or how you look, and then you see attractive people in commercials, and all of a sudden you're like, well, hey, I want to see myself in those commercials. These people are attractive. Why isn't there people like me? Okay, I mean, yeah, diversity and inclusion and having, a solid representation of people is a good thing. I have crooked teeth. See, that's why I have my aligners in. I would like to see more people that have not perfect teeth on TV. True, but it doesn't ruin my whole day, and it doesn't affect my life. Like I still carry my value based on what I do and what makes me feel good. I don't dwell on bad things. I don't dwell on insecurities because all that does is it just leads to a life of disappointment and leads to a life of victim mentality. It leads to a life of, oh, woe is me. I can't do anything. And the world must cater to what I do and what makes me feel good. You know what that makes you? That makes you a narcissist. And it actually turns you into the person who thinks is being bullied into the bully. So life is not fair, ladies and gentlemen. It has never been fair. So you either accept that and you make of it what you will, or you piss a lot of people off, and then, yeah, some people you force to get them to do what you want them to do. But in the vast majority of cases that we've seen, people value the freedom of being able to do what they want and not having people tell them what to do. It goes back to children. If you push a child to do something and tell them no, what are they going to do? They're going to say, no, mom, no, dad, I'm going to do whatever I want. It's just baked into people, you see. So I'm actually kind of happy about this commercial. To be honest with you, I'm happy about it because as much as it's good to have, um, a representation of every kind of person in ads, a lot of people were, saying that this is a downgrade from other American Eagle commercials because they featured, like body positive people and whatnot, which is fine. You can do that. But that doesn't mean that you can't have an attractive woman also do it, because there are attractive people out there. And aesthetically, I think most people are attracted to aesthetics, good aesthetics. We look for the shiny, bright thing. We don't go digging through piles of poop because we know aesthetically it's not good. It looks like a pile of crap and it smells bad. But when we see a clean, attractive person, regardless of their sex, gender, ethnicity, whatever, we want that. You see, again, it goes back to human psychology. Children gravitate towards the big, colorful, bright objects. That's why in the cereal aisle, all the cereal boxes are usually bright and colorful, because that's what children want. Same goes with people, you know. We're all sort of fighting, to keep up with the Joneses. We want things. We're consumers. And that does lead to problems. I'm not going to lie. People would be better off not being consumers and being producers and finding ways to contribute to society and help one another. But, life is realistically, life is a balance of both. You do very well at your job, and then you get the things that you want, if you can. And if you can't because you're systematically disenfranchised or you have obstacles in your way, then, God bless you. I wish you the best of luck. Again, life is not fair. I wasn't born a Kardashian. I don't get to live in a big house in Beverly Hills, at least not at this point in my life. But hey, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. I just got to work really hard to get there. And maybe it won't happen. Maybe it will. I don't know. It seems to me that the people that end up getting what they want are the people who are the most optimistic. Even if they trade on negativity, them trading on negativity and telling people that they're, disenfranchised and unable to get the things they want, the people who preach that are also rich. So they're trading off of that. They're trading off of your anger and your frustration and your depression and your sadness. They've turned that into a form of currency for themselves. So be very careful about buying into these sort of things, because if you are being a victim or you think you're a victim, then somebody is probably capitalizing on that. And it's not just the people who are trying to keep you down, it's also the people encouraging you to feel that way. So keep that in mind. I think that it's time to focus on bigger things than commercials like Sydney Sweeney and jeans. If you're outraged about that, there's plenty of bigger things to be outraged about. Like I myself am very invested in all this Epstein stuff. Like I would like to know what the hell is going on with that. For years, we were told that this Epstein stuff was going to be released with the new administration, and it seems like they're dragging their feet on it. And then you have news about how Obama apparently committed espionage or treason. He did treasonous things to try and derail the Trump administration. So, you have all kinds of things that you can be invested in. on both sides of the political aisle, wherever you fall on, and whatever upsets you and gets you doing at least something that would be beneficial for us. Because I would argue that um, a sex trafficker who was forcing women to go to an island to do, sexual acts, and a guy who was a president who committed treason and lied to the public potentially about Russian collusion. These are far more interesting things than Sydney Sweeney's goddamn jeans. Like, come on now, you know. And look, if you're one of those people that's making money off of this commercial by inciting outrage and talking about how much you hate this, well, guess what? You're lucky, because without this commercial, you wouldn't be able to keep talking about what you talk about. And you wouldn't be able to make money off of riding off the coattails of people's anger, frustration, and insecurities. So, congratulations. Anyway, y'all, that's all I have to say. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Happy Monday, and have an excellent start to your week. Bye bye.